Welcome to a podcast capturing the antics of two geeks who talk about video game culture and influence, both old and new, all through chaotic banter and tangential tangents that make no sense. My name is Mask.
A Roblox gift card? How many dollars?
This is my pal Red.
I would love to play more than just the three characters you start with.
And together we make the Reddmasq Podcast.
This is episode 23.
Okay. I am Ryu. I am asexual.
That was perfect, because we're going to have sexual content on the show. Viewer discretion is advised.
How are we starting this goddamn show? Are we starting with the hilarious Maple Story Blue Ball
I
story?
suppose we can start with Niru here, which you showed me the story. I don't know what to make of it besides, like, you have a game where with a level 300 cap. No one's gotten there except this person, except not really.
Yeah, so Maple Story, I think, is kind of infamous for how grindy it is. And I remember as a kid, the closest I ever got to, like, I did play some Maple Story as a kid, but like my Wi-Fi connection sucked. But that's not here or there. What happened this past like week or something like that, there was a player who was supposed to hit level 300, which is the current hard level cap for Maple Story. It used to be, I remember what
well, their name
is
Niru here.
Niru, Niru.
Yes.
Anyways, they were at, if I remember correctly, they were at level 299 and they were 99.993% of the way to level 300. Like all they had to do was go into their inventory and drink an experience potion to get that experience, which they had. They had that. What happened before this though was that the Nexon, the Maple Story devs were doing this big event talking about the new update that's coming and like how excited they are for it. And then for a celebration, they all in the game, they created a banner that said, "Hey, go watch Niru hit level 300."
Just like Twitter advertisement and everything.
Yeah, like an in-game advertisement. Like,
it was in-game too, not just on social media. Amazing.
Yeah, an in-game advertisement for his channel saying like, "Hey, come watch him hit level 300." And like they rated his stream. So he basically had the entire community watching him and the goodwill of the company. And then when they all raid him and he logs himself into Maple Story onto his character, but then he just spends an hour going off about how badly the game is like designed, and well, mostly, and like this, a lot of the decisions are really stupid and weird, and like, oh, hey, you need a ton of this resource to, you need just a metric fuck ton of this one resource if you want to level up.
I shall now give my master thesis on why this game is absolutely terrible, and you are all forced to watch me. You are welcome.
Yes. Yeah, he just
Nobody
dumps
expects
on
malicious compliance.
He literally like just starts dumping on the game for an hour. Like, all I remember is that he pointed out like there is this resource that you need a shit ton of to like properly level up and like max out your character, and it's untradeable for some reason, even though it's tradable over on the Korean servers. Which is just like, huh? It's like stuff like that where it's like a lot of boneheaded decisions that like a lot of the player base were just like, hell yeah, speak your shit. This game sucks. But he just did that for an hour. And like soon after his ranting started, they removed the banner ad for his stream in game. They like removed the announcement.
At least paid enough attention to do so.
Yeah, they paid enough attention. But like after that hour rant, he just logs off without dinging.
Without even getting the level.
He was literally Forrest Gump when he runs that marathon, and he just decides, you know what, I'm done running. I'm going to go home. But like with a lot more spite behind it, because the reason, like if Maple Story is known for how bad the grind is, maybe there's a reason why it is, and it's not very good. But yeah, that was just hilarious to see this.
I struggle to say that this has happened in, like, other circumstances, but I can't seem to recall one right now where just, like, someone has, like, a whole stage and audience and basically goes, save the whales, drops the mic, and walks away.
Not even save the whales, because that implies it was, like, a third, they were, like, going for a third thing. No, this was This was like getting on the stage of like TED Talks to bitch about how TED Talks sucks.
Amazing. Like the one word TED Talk, mic drop, leave.
Yeah, it's like your company sucks. Mic drop. and Nero hasn't touched the game since. Like the next day he streamed a 100% playthrough of Ocarina of Time. Like he just moved the fuck on. He's just gonna stay at that level. He's gonna stay at He's not gonna stay. He's gonna stay at not level 300 for the rest of time because they're not gonna fix their damn game. That's not gonna happen. They've made it this far.
Well, hi.
But anyways, that's what happened with MapleStory. I don't understand enough about the game to really understand the criticisms he has. But like I understood like enough to be like, oh yeah, that does seem really stupid to have a resource you need a shit ton of be untradeable when it's tradable in a completely different region. It's like, okay, fuck you. What the hell are we talking about next? 'Cause we got
well, I can move on to a more serious segment. I could talk about the trailer for Garou, Mark of the Wolves.
Oh yeah?
Hey, I called it the right name this time. How about that?
Hell yeah, brother.
Evo Japan happened this weekend. I was away at another science fair. I ended up just kind of browsing through a couple of the side tournaments there, of which there are, take a guess, viewers, take a guess. How many games do you think a fighting game tournament can have as a side tournament that aren't on stream, mind you, but are still at the event?
And also aren't all fighting games.
Right, yes. It doesn't have to be a fighting game necessarily, but it has to have some elements of that, or some of the community around it has that.
It has to have some element of competitive community.
Well, if you guessed around 70 to 80, you are in the right ballpark, because holy crap, that's a lot of games. Yeah, there's like so many games from so many communities out here. There's Taito Drum Jutsu, which is basically just like Donkey Konga, except it predates Donkey Konga, where you're just beating on drums. There's a Puzzle Bobble tournament. There was Windjammers. I love Windjammers. We played that. You're basically throwing a disc back and forth and trying to get into the goal. It's kind of like a top-down version of Nidhogg or something. Again, fighting games. Great stuff.
Yeah, and like puzzle games are like a whole, like they might as well be fighting games with how intense the community and competition can become.
It can be, yeah.
And like
Mega Man Battle Network tournament as well was here. You have Competitive Catherine, which, believe it or not, actually had a scene in North America for a little bit in my region, which held at the fucking yeah.
Speaking of competitive puzzle games, good God.
Yeah, it's a 3D puzzle game with a theme that is very, let's say, sexy, but not the sexy that you think.
It's a lot of like the way the story I have no idea how to explain the themes because like the way the story plays out, in the original, you technically have 3 separate ending paths you can go, and there's true endings for all 3 of them, right? Yes. You can either go with Catherine with a K and like basically basically just marry her and just go like full order effectively. Mm-hmm. You can go Catherine with a C's route where you become the ruler of the underworld with her. And then the other ending is you choose neither of them and become a free man and win a trip to space.
I'm going to space.
Yeah, it's like I guess the theming of Catherine is fucking freedom, man. Do what you decide, but go all in.
Freedom, I guess. It is a game for sure. It's a puzzle game with dating sim elements. That's the boring way to say that.
Oh yeah, and also like there's a bunch of like side people you talk to. And you talk to them in the bar, and then you find out that they exist in the dream world as well, where they're fighting for their lives alongside you. Mm-hmm. And make sure you talk to them and give them the right advice at the right time so they stay alive.
Also, the game has interesting like online polls, if I recall.
Oh yeah, that was like a major part of it. Is that you're like your first playthrough, you're just supposed to treat it like answer like you would what you would actually answer, because it keeps track of everyone's first answer to it, because they know that like once after you get your first run through in, people are going to go after the endings and answer in very specific ways because that affects what your alignment is. And and a lot of them follow that sort of like that order, chaos, freedom kind of thing. Where like it's
Right.
but like I remember one of the questions is just like, is it better to stand out or fit in? And it's like you have to choose one or the other, and whatever you answer will affect your alignment a little bit.
All of this kind of skirts around the whole core of the game that is Catherine itself, which is kind of a
puzzle game.
Jenga puzzle game sort of thing. You have to pull blocks out and move them into different parts of a sort of tower in order to climb up to the top of the tower.
It's also an action puzzle game because like you are being chased.
Yep, the
And
screen just kind of goes up, and there's enemies chasing you as well.
There's enemies running around. They're gonna
Right.
push you around. You gotta shove them out of the way and maybe kill them too, which is like
Right.
You're actually committing murder, by the way. If you do,
Right.
which is like really funny because like you talk to specific sheep and they're like you get to know them and like, oh, I got to keep these people alive by giving them the right advice.
Mhm.
And then you get into the puzzle game and you're just murdering other sheep and it's like, okay, sure.
It's just very silly anime style video game nonsense for sure.
Oh yeah, and they're all nightmares and like the monsters are always based on whoever's seeing them. So like a lot of the nightmares that your guy has to do. I think one of them is literally a monster.
Oh boy! Now I gotta put a content warning in here.
You're talking about Catherine. Yeah,
Well,
you should know. You're talking about Catherine. That
I was
needs a
originally
content
planning
warning.
on talking about Uchu Mega Fight, but I mean, this game kind of came in and just devoured the conversation because it's a good video game.
And speaking of being devoured, that monster will eat you. You're walking into it.
Oh my god, what the heck? I'm done.
So, like the gameplay itself is like a very hectic puzzle game where you have to figure out how to push all the blocks in the right way so you can get up. And I think on like higher difficulties, it gets absurd. I watched like a max difficulty playthrough of it.
Right.
It was just like,
it's a lot of just mental gymnastics to actually do this, which is the hallmark of a great puzzle game. I believe the versus mode is just a race to the top, if I recall.
yeah, I can imagine.
You're just racing player 1 and player 2, just whoever gets to the top first wins, and the other one just falls down the tower.
Yeah.
It's your standard fare with puzzle games. So, Catherine, as a competitive game, has a lot of merit. But despite all of the theming and despite everything else, it's still a great game at its core, even if you hate all that stuff. So, good for it being in this tournament, although the bar wasn't very high. So, here we are.
Yeah, because the bar is actually in game where you drink alcohol and it speeds you up at night.
Oh my god, you!
I'm very good at I watched a full playthrough of that fucking game. I know a lot about it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch our locals play it.
Oh my
At
God.
like the college. We had a competitive scene for most rhythm games. We had competitive scenes for most fighting games, although a lot of the stuff that's on here you won't actually see there. We had Third Strike, we had some Guilty Gear, we had Smash.
It is absurdly not safe for work, that game.
Very, very.
And the remake or whatever has like a third Catherine with a Q who's like an alien. And I remember there was a controversy about that story because
I think it's also a play on words of like the Japanese word for alien, okyuju.
Yeah. But it was like a big issue with her true ending is that like one of the supporting characters in that game is canonically actually trans.
Good.
And it like gets brought up a lot, mostly to tease the guy who like gets with her. And it's like that's like, whatever. But like the true ending for Catherine with the Q has her basically fix everyone's problems before they become a problem, and the way they fix the trans character's problem is they basically make it so she never gets dysphoria, which is like, I saw the thought process there, but maybe you shouldn't have done it. I don't think you thought all the way through of that. Like, I get what you were going for, but like, that's not quite how that works.
I'm not sure, Just like,
not the best idea, but yeah. You can immediately see the
morals
issue.
And ethics, everyone's opinion is different on this.
It's like if you solve my problem by going back in time and making sure I never have autism, what does that mean? What does that mean?
It doesn't mean
That doesn't
anything
make it-
because it's a video game. Let's just put it at that. Like, can I just leave it at that?
Yes, we can leave it at that.
Leave
We
it
can-
at the
you
flights of whimsy.
I want to talk really fast about
Sure.
something.
Was there a game on the list that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I just wanted to, well, yes, but like, I want to preface this with, so there's a remake coming out. Mr. Mask over here doesn't want me to
No.
spoil him on.
No details, please.
Yeah, I will not give any details. Don't worry. I'm just saying the 1,000-Year Door remake is coming along really nicely from what I'm seeing. It looks really good. It looks like there's a lot of new stuff, and that's all I'm going to say. If you want more details, go find them elsewhere because I'm not going to be able to talk to him with Mask here.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm going very spoiler-free with this game due to the fact that my friend that I started talking to again, his like whole community and like everything that we kind of worked with speedrunning years ago was Super Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Paper Mario, including the 1,000-Year Door.
Oh,
So
damn.
a lot of the details of like the game that we worked on, in terms of just like the run and the content and just like the people that we used to know, like Strider, like Elmo, like others in the community. I mean, it's just stuff that is gonna eventually get discovered, but like this game is very special to me for a lot of other reasons.
And
So
you've
I
played
choose
and
to
you've
not be
played
spoiled.
and you've played the 1,000-Year Door. So like it's not so much
Multiple
that
times through, yeah.
you are not spoiling yourself on the game. It's you're spoiling yourself on all the remake stuff. You want to go in and see all of it for the first time.
Right. I want to just experience the game as it was meant to be experienced here and see if Nintendo can redeem themselves. I don't think they still can, but I'm still going to hopefully enjoy it.
Every now and then they'll hit some dingers. I think
Maybe.
1,000-Year Door is going to be 1,000-Year Door remake is going to be one of them.
Maybe. Well, I still wanted to mention Uchu Mega Fight because it's okay. What is that game with Sakaban? I forgot the name of it again. Joy Mech Fight.
Oh, that's Joy Mech Fight.
It's literally like a Pico 8 version of Joy Mech Fight. If you're familiar with like Celeste, how it started on the Pico 8, it's just like a fantasy console where there's a emulated version of it, but there's no actual hardware. The community has come up with hardware over the years, but as a game console, it is literally just something somebody made up. It has a fictional engine with a fictional processor with fictional speeds, and real games can run on it. You program games to work for it. Uchu Mega Fight is one such game, heavily inspired by Joy Mech Fight.
Do you know what other major game was made with started as a Pico 8 game?
What else?
Celeste.
Yeah, I said Celeste at the beginning of that.
Oh, fuck me. I did not hear you.
Oh, I just caught the tweets you've been sending me here as well.
I just wanted to link.
Nice calculations per second, 7.8.
Yeah, like the tweet I just linked you is someone saying that it's legitimately impossible to get a 7.9 score for the processor in the Windows 7 Experience Index.
Wow.
Which, by the way,
that was
why
a
are
thing.
they-
That's nostalgic.
Yeah, that was a thing, and it was. Guess what the scale is on? It's on a scale of 1.0 to 7.9.
Look, arbitrary numbers just help hide the fact that your computer sucks.
It's like I've always thought about like having a rating system for games or whatever that isn't like base 10 or 5. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make it out of 7.
Because, well, I mean, if you get below a 5, why would you play this game in the first place?
Yeah, so it's like, fuck you. I want you to think about why I'm giving you this score.
Any games that get like a 6 or 7 on Metacritic are immediately like panned and just moved aside. A 7 is like the minimum number to quantify a good video game, which is disgusting, but it's the metric that we have.
Thanks, school.
Yeah, I mean, people mostly associate with like school grades and numbers and such.
Yeah, but it's like I've always just thought like, oh yeah, a 4 is I was content with the game.
I think that like a well-stretched 5-star system works okay, but at the same time, it's just like you give anything a 3-star, people aren't going to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave that hot dog I had earlier a completely middle of the road score because it was exactly what I bought a hot dog and it was a hot dog, nothing special. It was
non-memorable.
It was exactly what I bought. So it gets a perfectly 5 out of 10.
I'd say you could probably elevate that to a 6 if you just put a little char on it. That's just me, though.
Yeah, it was. If it was like an all beef hot dog, it may have been 6.
Anyway, Uchu Mega Fight. You have your base game with like a few unlockable characters. You have essentially a system where you have the traditional game as like a mega mode, so it's like Super Turbo in its approach. You have characters that have longer reach when you're playing like the base game version, but they don't get like chain combos. So it kind of handicaps them that way, and the moves are all individually balanced. The traditional mode has like technical chain combos, and you could just like go 1, 2, 3, like 4, Killer Instinct style. I don't know. And then like they have a third play style mode where it's like Smash, where you can do like directional inputs plus button in order to get combos a lot easier. The characters have much shorter reach though. They get pretty chibi.
Yeah.
It's a nice little balance experience, and Red, we should have played that, but we were freaking busy this weekend.
Oh yeah.
We really had a lot going on this whole week, in fact.
Did we? Oh my god.
Yeah, we did. We'll get to that right after this. This episode is brought to you by us. We work hard in making an exciting show each week, chaos included. Check out the links in the show notes for ways to help support the show. This includes our coffee page, which you can find at ko-fi.com/mask31. Okay, so we had the most amazing week for Sega nerds like us, because we had like a trifecta of like just events and overall happenings between like the community and just like Sega itself.
So to start with, Sega did a Puyo Puyo rave.
Yep,
on
Puyo
Twitch.
Rave on Twitch.
Basically, there's a new Puyo game on fucking Apple Arcade, which was basically that was what they were going to be doing that whole time. They were going to be playing matches on that Apple Arcade game online, and they would be having a set of DJs who had their mixes sent in to play as people played, and it's called Puyo Puyo Puzzle Pop.
Yep,
it's Puyo on a fucking phone.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean Apple TV Plus as well.
It's but like when I play it, I'm finding out really fast that if I'm going to play Apple Arcade games, I need to play it on a controller because I hate touch screen controls so much.
They're a little iffy. Remember when I showed you like Puzzle League on touch screen with that Moon Block, the game, ages ago?
Kind of.
Yeah,
but mostly what I hate the most about, that kind of stuff, like touchscreen controls, I can feel my phone heat the hell up while I'm playing these advanced games, and B, finger smudges.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm very upset about anytime my finger smudges my fucking phone screen.
I have the solution for the first problem. Are you ready? It's called a Peltier cooler. Aren't you excited to bolt one of these to the back of your phone? All you gotta do is put something like this on the back of your phone, and it makes it a lot cooler. Don't worry, we have gamer-themed versions of this too.
What the fuck is that?
I love the reaction.
That is a subwoofer. My laptop cooling pad makes more sense than that. What the fuck?
Don't worry, here's the gamer-fied version.
Yes.
It's currently available online for $8.
Oh, only $8?
Yeah.
That sounds like it's gonna be useless, actually.
It could also damage your electronic components if you don't use it the right way.
Oh my god.
So, thermoconduction lesson for everyone on the podcast right now. Peltier coolers work by making two bimetallic strips like different temperatures. One gets super hot while the other gets super cold because it's just like heat allocation and dissipation. So the hot side gets constantly cooled and then continues to get hot, while the cool side stays so ice cold that it actually freezes the metal to whatever it's making a contact with. So yeah, you can damage your components if you don't know how to use these correctly, and they sell these on mass market. It's great.
Do they sell them on Temu?
Yeah, they do sell them on Temu.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
I had to interrupt with that. We can continue with the
anyways,
the rave right here, which featured a couple of very important guests as well.
Oh yes, my older brother was the first DJ set to go
Ben
on.
Briggs, yes. And
and the person who was running the event was like the Sega coordinator was actually another person my brother knows, which is Gee Whiz of the Stars.
Cool. I
constantly talk to him on Ben's stream. It's a thing. I get like secondary access to this shit by virtue of my nepotism, I guess.
It's family
Anyway.
connections. It's fine.
But yeah, the music was amazing. The gameplay was mostly fine. The biggest issue was literally just Apple's servers. Apple is still struggling with this stupid bullshit.
But hey, you got on stream a couple of times.
I did. I won when it mattered, and he said my name. But yeah, like, I am not good at Puyo Puyo. I would say I'm low mid-level at best. Because I can't fucking do any kind of like the big chains. Because like in order to get any good at Puyo Puyo, you have to understand how to make the big ass chains, right?
Right.
And then like, so that's how you get to like mid level. And then to get to high level, you have to figure out how all the different nuances work. Where it's like, oh, I need to cut my chain early to fend off this harassment. I need to harass this person to stop their chain, et cetera, et cetera. It's a matter of reading what you need to do and when.
Situational awareness.
I can't do any of that, and the biggest chains I can make are like 4 or 5. But at least I end my chains with like, I don't know, like 10 Puyos popping, so it's like extra powerful, and so that's enough to get me some wins. Because I basically all I know how to do is make harassment chains, like nothing big and important. Like the community for that game is small already because it's Apple. That's Apple Arcade exclusive, so.
Not as big as like something like Super Kirby Clash, where just like there's a bunch of people just at the ready to play this. It's not exactly an easy to access or free game. You have to have the subscription.
You have to have the subscription. You have to have the phone or the TV to play it on. I still like that the Castlevania mobile game on Android that existed apparently like years before, and then they took it down. And then it resurfaced on Apple Arcade. It's like, now it's here. And they added a couple new updates to it. Neat. So there's like like the way that Apple Arcade, basically, a lot of the games on Apple Arcade are like other freemium pay-to-win games, but with the pay-to-win removed and like balanced better because of it.
We have an episode where we talked about some of them. Yeah, we talked about Sonic Dream Team.
Oh, yeah, I still haven't opened. Yeah. I have still not opened that game. I'm not actually that big of a Sonic game fan, as it turns out.
Well, you are this week, so.
Well, yeah, because we played a fan game. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, the Puyo Rave was 5 DJs, all great. My older brother was one. Yep. Pre-P, Rob, KTA.
The music was Sonic themed and had a lot of other Sega lore buried deep within.
It was all Sega themed mostly Sega themed because, Sega has Puyo right now.
And why would you not go with some of the amazing remixes for Fantasy Zone and Afterburner and, I'm sorry, Space Harrier. I always say Fantasy Zone with Space Harrier because when the intro is just like, welcome to the Fantasy Zone, get ready. They just kind of go at it. The samples are fantastic. Oh yeah, shout out to your brother, like, ripping you a new one over, not saying licensed music that's sampled there. And then he just goes off like midstream. It's like, someone used Super Circuit.
Someone used the 64 version of the... It was very funny.
Yeah, it was just dumb.
he didn't really rip into me. He was just like, hey, we need to be careful about this. And then he pulled out the fucking Mario Kart. And I was like, oh, yeah? It's like, are we supposed to? Because this is...
Like we said with samples before, it's all good fun, so... Puyo Rave was a lot of fun, had a great time. Hopefully that Sega keeps up with the Sesri tradition. I would definitely attend every year. This sort of thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I doubt it will be, but it's neat.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, I don't know, it was like maybe the anniversary of Puyo Puyo. I don't remember. Point being, we were there to watch it. I played some Puyo Puyo. I even did some of the story mode for you because I was getting bodied enough.
They're going through the game too, and it's just like, hey, well, this game is a story. I'm like, I know. Oh, they did some other modes online as well, like later in the stream.
Yeah, it's some more gimmicky modes that are just kind of fun.
Yep, you just kind of have one mode where you're just digging down into a star in order to just delete your opponents. Whoever gets to the star first wins, basically. But sometimes, both players get to the star first, and then it becomes a waiting game.
It becomes a stall game. It becomes Puyo Puyo 1 stalling, which is... Because Puyo Puyo 1 has no counter system. So if you have garbage enough to kill you, and if both you and your opponent have garbage enough to kill each other, you just stall and pray to God you don't throw your pieces down before them.
So yeah, they're just like rotating the piece throughout the screen just to get it to actually stick, but not like land. You just want it to just kind of wait there as long as possible.
Yep.
They also had
That's-
Puyo Pop as one of the modes there.
Oh yeah,
the combo system.
it's called Fever. It's Fever. It's called
I didn't
Fever.
know.
Because the game was Puyo Pop Fever and Puyo Puyo Fever.
Yep. You have to like make a match that's like going to cause like a massive combo to happen already. It's all kind of laid out for you, but garbage pieces can't get in the way.
If you want more information about Puyo Puyo, you should probably go somewhere else because we're a bunch of casual scrubs with it.
They're here for the friendship, not for the experience.
I made you rage quit when we played Puyo Puyo against each other.
I don't want to recall that.
Yeah, it's understandable. To be fair, you're in the same class as my older brother when that happens because I'm a piece of shit when it comes to puzzle games.
You download him, and then he starts wrecking you. No, it's the other way around.
I download him. Yeah, I download how he plays, and then I start kicking his ass.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyways.
It's not a back and forth. It's just one way, and that's it.
After that, what did we do? The next
thing we did was 2 days later. Paramount Plus, they released a new series for Knuckles the Echidna. And oh boy, it's a doozy.
They focus a lot on the humans again, because fucking goddamn it.
It's the Sega Cinematic Universe. What are you expecting here?
I'm fine with a Knuckles series existing, honestly, because it's the Sonic 3 and Knuckles joke.
Right.
Ha 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 ha.
I think it makes sense that it went to Paramount Plus because when we were watching it, it had the Nickelodeon label all over it, basically. Which makes
and it was only 6 episodes long.
Yeah, it was only 6 episodes. Very
long.
Easy to binge. Probably about 3 hours.
A mini series.
Yeah, pretty much a mini series.
It's a full story, so that's all you're gonna get. But the point being is that I think what carried it for me was me being able to riff on the bowling aspect.
Yeah, the whole plot of the series is that like Knuckles has to like understand Earth and like train there, but also Gun gets involved and antics ensue. And then there's a lot of stuff that happens and unfolds with that. And
so with Knuckles, he's
kind of a crappy plot, but it's fun, which is where it counts.
Well, I can give the plot. Okay, let me explain what Knuckles' plot is for him. He needs to accustom himself to living on Earth because he is a little too intense. But he also has to deal with the fact that he's the last Echidna, and Patchkamak, I think that's how you say his name. Yeah,
voiced by Christopher Lloyd.
Comes to him in spirit form and kind of has some slapstick happen to him because he's a ghost. And he's like, oh shit, I'm a ghost. Mm-hmm. Right. But he's basically just like, you need to train people. And he's like, who the hell do I train? He's like, that fat cop.
His name is Wade.
It's like, okay. Wade Whipple. And yeah, that's part of it. But also like Knuckles is being hunted by gun agents, 2 of them specifically. But also mainly because there's like this weird
Eggman knockoff wannabe kind of character. He's kind of like the antagonist from Iron Man 2. I actually don't. I wasn't paying attention.
His name is The Buyer.
Like that's his actual like bounty hunter name or whatever.
Yeah, he's like a mercenary / weapon guy. Yeah. Kind of like how the government will
hire mercenaries
support.
Or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Hi, FBI agent. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of those in the show, too.
Anyway, so that's the story for Knuckles. But the plot for the for the human Wade is winning a bowling tournament and all the shit that comes with it. Like, he makes up with his estranged family, which involves... I'm going to save that for later, but... And then he has to find out that his dad is the champion of he's the champion of the bowling tournament they're going to, who... His dad's name is Pete Whipple. Mm-hmm. He's named Pete. Like Pete, like another bowling champion, Pete Weber of Who Do You Think You Are? I Am fame.
Famous Pro Bowler. You explained this
but
to
his
me
name
and
is
I still didn't get it.
Yeah. But he's not based on Pete. He's not based on Pete Weber. He is his own character because he's
basically a cartoon character.
So he's so fake British, and his ex-wife calls him out on it too. He's like, "You're from fucking Slough, man. What are you doing?" I know you're from Slough. You're faking this accent like it's like you're God.
They do focus on
he's
the
also-
humans, like Red said here, for a lot of the plot.
It's also really fun. It's also really funny that he's called Pistol Pete and constantly fires his guns off like he's a fucking Texas Ranger. Yeah, a Texas Ranger dressed head to toe in the Union Jack and speaking in a bad Cockney accent. What is going on with this guy?
I have no idea.
Also, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, he kind of
Like,
just tries to level with his son, but it was just a plot twist right at the end. Spoilers.
It's all a bunch of he's faking getting with his son, basically.
Yeah. He's an asshole.
Because like the moment the gun agents come up to him for help with catching Knuckles, he just immediately sells out his son for the sake of getting him out of the tournament so he can win. He's obviously an asshole. He's bad, and he loses because he gets his ass. He loses the tournament, and oh god, I'll start riffing on the bowling shit later.
We'll run the bowling
so
stuff
many
together here because I have my own kind of low blows to land here.
Because me riffing on the bowling aspect isn't real criticism. It's just me having fun, to be honest.
This series is really definitely quite fun in a lot of aspects. I'd say it's about Wade and Knuckles for a lot of the show here, as like what kind of carries it along. So the buddy cop sort of thing that you see with like Sonic and like his
other
partner.
cop.
Yeah, his literal other cop.
His human cop, which by the way, Wade is like the deputy of that guy.
So there you go. Still police enforcement. I don't know. Sonic series loves that. Sonic X, anyway.
It's buddy cop, but the partners of said buddy and cop going on their own adventure. I just basically went over the main plot of just like the main thing.
You have all the main cast there, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles. You only see like Sonic and Tails for the first episode, but like most of it's carried again by the humans. There's a couple of fun references. I mean, very cartoony antics going on. Knuckles makes a Game of Thrones chair out of like someone's car and a table and a whole pit and arena for that. Whoa, we cut this segment out because there are some heavy spoilers, so make sure you tune in next week for information on the Paramount Plus Knuckles series and our conclusion. In the meantime, here's a bit about bowling.
Let's talk about the bowling. I'm ready to get into the fun part of us making fun of the bowling.
Because this has become a regular segment on the Reddmasq Podcast. Professional bowling tips and how not to do them. Don't be Knuckles. Do not literally throw a strike by shattering all the pins with a Mach 2 bowling ball.
Yeah, he gets fucking Wade hands him the bowling ball because he's like, this is my arena, so Knuckles has to help him figure out how to be bowler so he can be a warrior and blah, 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 blah. But like he hands Knuckles the ball and he just tosses it over. He just tosses it and shatters. It literally plays a shattering. It's pretty funny actually because he's a little powerful for bowling. But the actual things I want to riff about have to do with all the little minutia that I'm aware of, and it makes me laugh and it makes me have fun with the movie. Okay, so. To start with, when we first see Wade Whipple doing the bowling, there is a little girl just yelling at him, calling him a loser as he's doing his approach, which causes him to throw the ball backwards.
She's like it's Wii Sports bowling.
Yeah, she's 5 years old and she becomes like Wade's partner for the final tournament. Whatever. But if you do that in an actual bowling alley for a league, you're getting thrown the fuck out. It does not matter how. Like, if you're a kid, then your parents are going to be brought in to tell you to fucking cool it. If they won't cause it to cool it. They'll just kick y'all out. Like you have no idea how strict they can be about some of these things. But like a lot of it's just mostly just common sense. Like, yeah, don't fucking be an asshole to someone who's on their approach and distract them so they can fuck up in gutter bowl.
We want a batter, not a broken ladder.
And typically it's just like one lane up. Like you're not supposed to all bowl at the same time. You're supposed to like kind of like, yeah, because otherwise you would distract each other. I don't know. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I was just gonna go into like how going against distractions can get a little bit more ridiculous as you get closer to a perfect game, because normally the distractions from other bowlers bowling stops at the lanes next to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, you dropped a lot of actual information on like how rare perfect games genuinely are in bowling.
Yeah, but like, so typically when you're bowling normally, only the lanes next to each other will try not to distract each other. Like, so it's like one person will go, they'll free up the other two lanes to go without being distracting or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. When you're approaching a perfect game, that radius of distraction starts going away, like starts increasing exponentially, because part of it is people don't want to distract you at all. And the other part is people want to watch you.
Exactly.
I got 8 strikes into a perfect game, and I got to experience a little bit of that. And it was really weird to like miss my strike and hear like a good chunk of the alley react to it. I was like, oh, okay. That was the center of attention for 2 seconds there, and it was kind of uncomfortable. Anyways, so it's uncomfortable because it makes me realize I'm being watched. And it's like, oh shit, now the pressure's really on. Anyways. So, if you're yelling at somebody as they're approaching, like that little girl did, you're getting thrown out, just straight up. Also, if you're going to kick somebody off your team because they got distracted by said girl and also hit the pocket but left the 7 or 10 pin, you're a bad team leader because you're a dumbass, first off. But it's also just really funny to imagine somebody like getting kicked off a team because they hit the pocket but didn't get the strike because random luck exists in bowling because you can only be so precise as a human.
I'm just happy that none of the pins were on strings in this movie.
Yeah. Also, Wade. I would like to say that Wade's form on his approach and his follow through and his throw are garbage. Like the way he throws. He crossed his body. There was no follow through. It was I can't believe he was at that PBA tournament because there is a PBA Professional Bowlers Association Tournament of Champions.
Right.
But they're not sponsoring this.
You should talk about his bowling ball.
Okay. So his bowling ball. Now, to be fair, bowling balls like that are, I think, legal for the most part. They're just like gimmicky. They don't do anything for you. They just look funny. That's all it is. Like you can absolutely have those balls and make them run them, and then no one will give a shit because it's your ball. No one's gonna get distracted by your shitty looking ball.
Isn't there like a weight distribution thing? You have to have the weight printed on it, and it has to be an even weight throughout.
So, I don't know if it has to be an even weight because like there's different cores and core like shapes that get used to adjust the spin. Mm-hmm. I don't know how the science of that works, but there's a lot of that going on with balls.
Teacup sure ain't science.
But a spare balls are typically the ones that have completely even weight and are made of like plastic because they're meant to just go straight. They're just meant to knock out spares, like singular pins that you're just shooting straight for.
Gotcha.
And usually like balls that look like the teacup would be spare balls because, it's easier to make them that way. Okay. So his ball is ridiculous and it's stupid, okay?
Yes.
At one point, they show Wade throw his ball and they like have the camera on the ball going and it's clearly going to cross onto the left side of the head pin, right? And then the shot of him hitting the pins is in the pocket, which that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all.
Quote, movie magic, but it doesn't really track.
It's movie magic that doesn't matter. I'm just making fun of it because it's fun.
Yep. Also, a lot of Brooklyn style throwing.
Oh yeah, there was plenty of. I saw some Brooklyn strikes in that fucking thing. Yeah, because like it just happens.
Right.
You go Brooklyn, if you can still get a strike, it's natural.
Yeah, I did.
you take those, which was actually something that Wade says to Knuckles at one point.
Hey.
Because Knuckles is like you did not do anything that wasn't just a lucky thing that saved me, and it's like, hey, as my dad once said. We take those. And it's like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. That's something we said in bowling a lot.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I got a strike and I didn't hit the head pin because of luck. We take those. Mm-hmm. I'll take it. I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen again because that was all luck, but I'll take it for now. I'll take the win for now and try and make sure I get more later. Okay. Yeah, and I'm assuming with the partner bowling, it's just like you alternate frames.
Right.
That's something that happens with team bowling too, where like you have a team of 5 and each person gets like 2 frames to bowl. So you have someone who does the 1st and 6th, 2nd and 7th, 3rd and 8th, 4th and 9th, and then 5th and 10th, which is your anchor because they have the 10th frame.
Right. Yes. So
I'm assuming with their partner bowling, they were just alternating who was bowling on those frames because the girl doesn't have her own final frame, and neither does Pete's irrelevant partner, who is also a Cockney stereotype up the ass. Anyways, that's enough being bowling pedantry. That allowed me to get through that series a little bit easier because it just made it a lot more fun for me to mock
And mull over,
bowling.
yeah. Kind of funny we had that like right after our bowling trip, Red.
Yeah, I was gonna have it regardless because I was like, "Oh, bowling! This is my fucking thing." But it was fresh in our minds at that point. All right.
Unlike us though, Knuckles does not like music on the radio. He punches too.
I mean, the song was challenging him.
It was.
Can you kick it? Can you kick it? And so he kicks it. I can kick it. Fucking damn it, Knuckles. God damn it, Knuckles.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We are hosted on mask31.dev/the-reddmasq-podcast. You can also find us on Pocket Casts and wherever great podcasts are found.